Hi, my name is Chris Ryan. Now, are you that golfer whose practice swing looks absolutely nothing like the swing that you make when the golf ball is in the way? Well, if that is you, then this video is going to help, because we're going to show you in this video exactly why that might be the case. So who thinks that looks familiar to them? Their practice swings that are done here are absolutely fantastic. Look like you're a tall player. You walk over the ball and suddenly something takes over, something consumes you, and what you actually produce is nothing like what you've done before the golf ball. I would say that this is one of the most common questions that crops up in the lesson bay, is why are my practice swings so much better than my actual golf swing? It's a very, very difficult question to answer, and there are so many things that will influence the golf swing versus the practice swing, and so it's very difficult to actually pinpoint one or two things. But we're going to go through a few of those today and help you get a little bit closer to producing your practice swing on the golf ball. So the first thing we're going to talk about, which is just something you're going to have to try and get used to yourself, is just the situation, the scenario. So let's say this is a second shot into the last hole. I'm one up in a match. It's a very important match. I'm really keen to win this match. When I'm making those practice swings, there's no pressure. There's no ball, there's no pressure. You know, the environment is very, very easy. Actually, when I step in over this ball, you know, there's pressure. And so the environment and the situation that we're in will make a huge effect to you, your body, and your ability to produce that nice, smooth swing. However, to get past that, you just need to try and get yourself into that position more often. Learn how your body deals with those situations. Learn how you can control your breathing, your body, whatever it may be, to deal with those situations better. The more times you find yourself in that situation, the better you will deal with it. The second reason that I see the practice swing being very different to the actual golf swing is when we've got the practice swing, there's no ball flight. So therefore, we don't actually have to create a functional golf swing. So very often what we'll see is when a golfer makes a practice swing, yes, it will absolutely look fantastic. It looks smooth and all the shapes and the angles look great. But actually when we slow it down, it may well be that when they get to the point where the ball would be, the club face could be so far open, pointing way off to the right. Had there been a ball there, that ball would go way off to the right. When we actually stand up over the golf ball, we need to make that ball go straight. So what we'll do is we'll move in different ways to try and create an impact which is more functional. Therefore, the golf swing will look different. Very often, those golfers who have that golf swing which looks better, if they were to hit the ball with that practice swing, would get worse results. The golf swing that they've actually got, which looks worse, produces better results, because it's all about producing an impact which makes the ball go straight. When we're here on the practice swings, we don't have to produce a good impact. We can produce an impact which is terrible, but the golf swing can often look very, very good. The next thing, which is something again we can't really change, but it's just more a case of understanding this, is the forces and the pressures on your body. When you're making your practice swing, very often you're making it at much slower speeds. There's less forces on your body. When you're hitting a shot and you're swinging that club at 70, 80, maybe 90 miles an hour, there's a lot more force going through the golf club, through your body, from the ground. That has a huge effect on why you can't replicate what you do 4 feet behind the golf ball. The last thing we're going to do is just give you some ideas on how you can start to move the two closer together. So start to make your golf swing a little bit more like your practice swing. And this is especially helpful for those of you out there who are trying to make swing changes. So you're doing something in your practice swing which you're then trying to take into the golf swing that you make over the golf ball. I love this drill. This is something I do, I would say, almost every lesson if we're making some changes. If you look at my golf swing from start to finish, it's probably around about a second and a half. That's not a huge amount of time. There's a lot of speed involved. Therefore, if I'm trying to do anything in my backswing or my downswing, it's incredibly difficult to do that. The chances are when I hit this shot, I will just revert to type. We all see that. So I love a little pause drill at the top of the golf swing. So let's say I'm working on my backswing, which I am. I tend to like to get the club a little bit inside this way and a little bit across line at the top. So my practice swing, I would always see that looking a little better. So what I would do in practice is I would actually hit shots with a pause. So I would actually take my starting position to this golf ball, make my backswing, pause, and then go through. Because what I'm doing there is I'm giving myself a little bit more time to focus and replicate what I'm doing behind the golf ball. Ultimately, that pause can become a little bit shorter, a little bit less time, and we can start to blend that into a one motion. So I would start to then take that through to some swings where the backswing might be a little slower, but there is no pause. And then we can start to increase the speed as we go from there. It's a process, it takes time. It's not something we can do in one practice session. Taking your practice swing, if you're working on some new movements through to the golf ball, takes time, it takes repetition, it takes lots of shots on the drive range where the ball doesn't go particularly straight. It takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of hitting shots out your comfort zone. All these things are skills that you need to learn and develop in practice if you're looking to improve your swing and you're looking to get your practice swing and your actual swing to look very, very similar. So hopefully there's some information in this video which kind of, one, helps you maybe move a little bit closer to what you're trying to do, but two, just helps you understand a little bit more about why it is so difficult to replicate the practice swing and the golf swing. Certainly if you took away the golf club, took away the ball, took away any pressure, my golf swing looks fantastic. You bring those things back in and suddenly a few things start to go wrong and I start to make some compensations. It's a case of understanding why those things happen and then putting some things in place during your practice time to help those things improve. So make sure your practice swing is closer to your golf swing by following some of those tips, and I'm sure you'll see your scores lower as a result. Thank you very much for watching. As always, usual stuff is down below. There's a comments box down there. There's a like button, so if you did like this video, if there was something in here which helped you, give it a thumbs up. That really does help me. And also over here, click that logo, my logo. That will allow you to be a free subscriber of the channel. Would love to have you along for the journey. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here again soon.